Hi, I'm Andrew Work here for Next Change, and I'm at the Emtech event in Hong Kong. And I am speaking to Will Knight, who is the senior editor for artificial intelligence with the MIT Tech Review. And Will, really excited you can take a little bit of time out to speak to us today.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm pleased to be here.
You bet. So Will, you're at the heart of possibly the world's greatest center for artificial intelligence and robotics, but you've been traveling to China. You've been in Beijing, you've been in Shenzhen, and you were telling me earlier you've seen some things that have really excited you. I imagine you're a hard guy to impress. What did you see that you thought was so interesting?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been getting more and more of a sense that China is starting to produce some really interesting AI companies, and so I came here to sort of investigate that. And what I've been seeing is that not only are people in China, coming up with some great business models around advances in machine learning, but especially the big companies are starting to do really fundamental, important research. And I think that's going to be a huge trend. Actually, I think that's going to make a big difference to the future of AI. I mean, it's already a pretty international phenomenon, but the amount of data that's available in China, the amount of interest there is in commercializing this stuff is just phenomenal. And so I think that the US companies need to look out, really.
Okay. Can you give us an example of one or two things in particular that you saw, either an application, or you can go full dork and talk about maybe some basic research that you saw? Do you want to talk about one of those things being commercialized, or one of those things that was basic research?
I can talk about something that kind of touches on both. A couple of things. So I met with the people from Ant Financial, which is the spin-off from Alipay. I'm super impressed by how they are applying machine learning to personal finance and mobile finance, and really using it throughout their company. It's basically an AI company that does finance. Their customer service is like 90-something% automated. You get in touch with them, you're talking to a machine. It sometimes hands it off, but it's kind of phenomenal what they're doing there. I also, in Shenzhen, so not far from here, I visited Tencent, and I was super impressed by just the hardcore machine learning work they're doing and where they're applying that. And one area I think that Tencent has a great incentive and opportunity is in language, in trying to do genuinely intelligent personal assistants, and that's something I know they're kind of looking at, thinking about. They haven't committed to anything, but that's like the holy grail of a lot of AI research, is trying to crack language. And if you think about it, who has more kind of language data to try and apply some learning to than a company like WeChat?
Yeah, absolutely. So where you are, it's famous for being one of the world's great academic centers, and then you get a lot of small spin-off companies, but you've been visiting big companies in China and looking at the basic research that they're doing. Did anything strike you that it's different, or there's a different dimension to the way they do things or the way they think about it? Or do they also have that university connection, or did you see it when you were there?
It's a little different. I think it's a little more commercially focused. There's such great kind of ecosystem for entrepreneurship. There's a lot of people spinning out companies, but a lot of sort of entrepreneurs just starting with the business model and working from there. So it's a little different, but I think it's starting to change. It's starting to become a bit closer to the US model. Some of these big companies are beginning to bring in professors or have professors work part-time, which is a real clear sign that they have more interest in the fundamental, not just how do we apply deep learning to whatever problem, but how do we actually invent the next deep learning.
Okay, sounds great. When can we look forward to reading about some of what you've seen in the MIT Tech Review?
So we're going to have a special issue on AI in November, and my piece is going to be in that.
All right, sounds good. Well, I'm sure everybody's going to be looking for that piece. I'm Andrew Work for Next Change, and I'm talking to Will Knight from the MIT Tech Review. Thank you very much for speaking to us today.
Thank you.
All right, cheers.